So this is going to be a short video, basically part 5A as a bridge between part 5 and 6 of our lecture on chapter 43. And so we left off here talking about the immune response time. And this chart shows basically what happens with the introduction of memory cells. So we have our memory B and T cells, which increase our response time in terms of second and third exposures to the same antigen. So in this graph here, antigen A, so let's say a virus, is causing this immune response here in the blue line. And the response is being measured by the concentration of antibodies in the blood. So at day 0, a person is exposed to this virus, but it takes until about day 7, 6 or 7, before we actually get the production of antibodies occurring. So there is quite a lag here. And it's not until day 14 that you actually get your maximum number of antibodies in the bloodstream, taking care of getting rid of this virus. So if you think about when a person gets sick, this is basically, it makes a lot of sense when they say when you first get sick, you probably aren't really aware that you're sick. You've been exposed to something. But then a few days later, you start feeling lousy and your body starts to mount its response. But it's not until about day 6 that your body really starts to fight off that illness. So you've probably been sick for 2-3 days and you're going to now start to feel a little bit better. And then usually by about day 10 of a viral infection is when you actually start to feel like you're over it. So that means your immune system here is at its peak. It's actually taking care of getting rid of that infection. Now let's compare that to the second exposure to that same virus. Here, that's happening at day 28. It takes about 2 days as opposed to 6 to get a sharp increase in antibodies. And so that's why when we have these memory cells, this is what allows them to respond very quickly in a very high volume way to a second exposure. So this increased response is going to make you either not really feel like you ever got sick, maybe you just felt kind of a little bit crummy after being exposed to something. But remember, again, this is that early period when you're not even really sure you're coming down sick. You might be. And by the time you actually are coming down sick, your body's already taking care of it. So now, during that same time period, you could be exposed to a different virus, let's say a bacterial infection. And in this case, we're back to the same slow response. So we get this same exposure here to this antigen B, and our body is going to go through this same slow process of building up some immunity. So it's going to be a much slower process again. So the next thing we're going to look at are when this immune system goes wrong in terms of working too well. So when it's working too well, oftentimes that takes the form of an autoimmune disease, which means that the immune system is attacking its own cells. So we saw already how with our blood types that can occur. It's not that we are necessarily, when we get a blood transfusion attacking our own cells, but we are attacking cells that are supposed to be helping us. But there are times when our immune system actually attacks cells that are part of us. So some of the diseases that result from that are lupus or rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, or multiple sclerosis, also known as MS. All of these different diseases are the result of the immune system attacking a specific part of the body. So for example, in rheumatoid arthritis, the cells being attacked are in the joints, the cartilage, and the bone cells. For some reason, the immune system starts thinking that they're presenting foreign antigens and starts to destroy them. Another overreaction of our immune system, it results in allergies. So the one that we're all familiar with is hay fever, which means that our body is reacting in a very exaggerated way to proteins on pollen or dust mites, something in animal saliva. All of these things are called allergens because what they do is they stimulate the release of histamine, and they cause our body to go into this pretty much uncontrolled overreaction to these presenting antigens, and in this case, allergens. Most of these overreactions or allergic reactions involve the IgE antibodies. Finally, we can't look at the immune system without looking at HIV and AIDS. So HIV is short for human immunodeficiency virus. So this is a specific virus that I'm sure you've heard about and probably know a lot about. So I'll just quickly go over it. But essentially, this virus infects the helper T cell. And the helper T cells, if you think back to that chart we looked at just a few back, let's see, where was that one? Right here. Without these helper T cells, the immune response, our acquired immune response, gets hamstrung. So we don't have activation, we don't get the release of the interleukin signal molecule to activate our B cells to go into clonal production of plasma and memory cells. And we also don't get the production of cytotoxic T cells. So what this HIV or human immunodeficiency virus does, again, is it attacks the helper T cells. And without the helper T cell, we can't activate the rest of the immune system. So we end up with no humoral or cell-mediated response to any sort of pathogen that then follows entry to this virus here. So it's a secondary infection that actually results in problems for someone with this condition. And so the condition that is a result of this or resulting from this infection is an immunodeficiency disease. And immunodeficiency disease is any defect in the immune system that is going to either result in a defective or absent immune response. So you can be born with that type of disease, as we saw in our case study with the young boy named Daniel. He had an immunodeficiency disease, or you can acquire it. And so with what we call AIDS, it's acquired immunodeficiency syndrome that is acquired through this HIV virus. So there are, obviously, it's a very serious illness because essentially without a functioning helper T cell system, any infection that comes our way is not going to end up with any sort of defense or response to that infection. So we saw on that graph before how we can get this response that helps us to feel better with the release of antibodies. Or we have cytotoxic T cells taking care of diseased cells within us. So without our ability to do that, we end up with infections just going wild because we have no antibodies to fight them. Or in the case of a defective self cell, for example, a cancer cell, the cytotoxic T cells are unable to then attack the sick cells and get rid of those, which is why another result of AIDS is a person succumbing to certain types of cancers. So I'll end right there because our next lecture will finish off this unit. And again, it's another little short video, but hopefully this helps you get prepared for mastering the immune system for AP Biology.